And that is what the Senate should be able to resolve.
As you're asking for transparency, do you think we should be privy to the report of the Attorney General?
The transparency issue is what you see. But what we are talking about is perception, because we don't see what they see. So if the Senate has seen other things that will make them change their mind, they should be able to explain to us that this is why they are changing their mind, so that our perception of them will be people who are fair. But if they give no reason, and if there's some horse trading done behind, which is legitimate, they still have that question of perception. How do we see the whole issue? Is it an internal political fighting again from 2018 or 2019? Or is it really the issue of fighting corruption? Because if you accuse a man of stealing in the marketplace, and then the next day you are talking in your house that the man is not a thief, what are the people who came to market in the morning and went home? What will be their own story? Growing up in the 60s, I've seen a magistrate court, a native court authority, give a ruling on a man who was called a thief in the marketplace. They said, go back to the market with a gong. Tell everybody in the market that this man I called a thief yesterday is actually not a thief. That native authority court in the 60s. So if they told us Mago has questions to answer, and tomorrow they say he has no questions to answer, we have nothing we can do about it, but we have our perception.
What do you think is really going on? Do you think it's about 2019 or they're really cutting for?
No, I think what is going on is that people are not putting their acts together. Like I said, Magu was appointed acting EFCC. Whoever gave him that appointment should know at the back of his mind that it's a dual responsibility for the confirmation. Therefore, they should work at his being confirmed for 3 months or for in the next 6 months. When they are sure that they can get the Senate approval, they will now present him for confirmation. And Magu himself has not been very helpful, really, because if you are on acting appointment, there are certain things you shouldn't say. The best of the FBI chiefs, you don't see them getting press conferences every day. There are people who should talk on behalf of the organization. It's not you as an individual. Magu is not sent. He didn't come down from heaven. So, but if he has the trust of the president that he can do this job, then people will fight for him. The lobby would have started the month he was appointed. And he will be presented, and on the basis of what he has done in the 3 months, how many prosecutions have been, how many cases have been prosecuted, how many have been won, how much money have been recovered, so on and so forth. On the basis of his action, what he has done, the Senate will confirm him.
But what do you say to those who are also of the view that all of this came up as a result of interagency rivalry? Because for the president to have appointed him, he must have checked him out and thought that, well, this is the person I need to do this job.
Yeah, check him out. How many documents do the president read in a day? How many does the SGF pass on to the president? We have to take, people like Obasanjo walked up till about 4 a.m. in the morning. It's a very tedious job. It's not every document that gets to the president. Some the SGF look at it and say, okay, this is what the president will say about it, and he goes ahead.
And that's the way it should be.
And if it doesn't backfire, the DSS report, is there any reason to believe that that document didn't get to the presidency? Did somebody suppress it? Otherwise, what was the need of sending the DSS report to the Senate? That's not the reporting line. So if the DSS made a report and somebody in presidency doesn't want to take their word for it, then they send it somewhere else, either anonymously or whatever. And you have this clash, which is not necessary. If the document is not suppressed at his presidency, it would have been investigated or re-investigated, so that the president does not put himself out and somebody makes a fool of him.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be back after this. Join us again. Welcome back. Well, the whole scenario, perhaps until the Senate finishes that review or reconsideration of the EFCC chairman, and then many things will come to light. But if it turns out that he is rejected, do you think the president should then be asking himself, how come the DSS had this report, or how come there were questions raised about the acting EFCC boss? So it's either the EFCC boss has questions to answer, or the DSS brought a false report. Because if I nominated him and I didn't say this, so along the way, it's not all looking tidy.
It's not really tidy. And not only the DSS and the EFCC, the National Security Advisor also will have a question to answer.
About this?
Yes. Everything on security has to go through him. He has to have an idea about what is happening.
And he will brief the president.
And now when the question of the DSS report emerged in the Senate committee, that is when a review again should have started in the presidency. Where did this document come from? Was there a copy in this office? The National Security Advisor, have you seen this? These people will report to him. The FCC, the DSS, or whatever they call themselves. So the president, as the head of government, cannot be expected to go through all this. And because the Nigerian mentality is that it's the president who will always say or who will see all these things. But the people who are close to him, who look at this document before him, what did they do? And if there is rivalry at the National Security Advisors level, it should be sorted out. But using my gut feeling, the way things work, that's rivalry quite all right. Magu Ibrahim wasn't the highest ranking officer as in terms of years of service to step into that shoes or whatever. There are other people who think that they could do better. But those things are normal. The thing to do is that if the president is nominating me, okay, the way it starts, if I'm nominated as ambassador now, I can't take congratulations from anybody until the confirmation is made.
Do you think anybody should have been fired by now?
If they have not been fired already, they should be fired now. Because the president has been put to a situation where the perception of him is being questioned. Is he actually as competent as we make it out that he is? Or are there people right there in his presidency who are trying to make him look bad? The fighting of corruption is not a personal issue. It's an institutional issue. Magu or no Magu, somebody else can step into that issue.
Are we approaching it as such?
We should approach it as such.
But are we?
We should.
From what you've seen?
The representation and the fact that that report wasn't questioned properly. People are not worried. How did this document get to the Senate? Somebody should be worried.
Linus Ukamba is a former arbitrator, industrial arbitration panel. He's also retired senior assistant secretary general of the Nigeria Labour Congress. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, Chamberlain.
Well, that's where we'll draw the curtain today on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chamberlain Osol.
And thank you, Amaupe Ogun.